As I work on the poppy, something that is useful is to block out some of it so I don't feel overwhelmed by seeing all these different values of color. If you take a piece of cardboard and cut out a couple L shapes, actually let me zoom this out. There we go. You can put those onto your paper and just kind of block out an area. So all you need to focus on is a small portion of it. So now it's a little bit easier to see that if I want to focus on that this is, a fairly dark area, I can focus on that and get this dark taken care of, and then I can see that I want to go in here and do this next dark, and I have a little bit lighter shade along there, which I'm keeping. So I can go ahead and I can go in and keep following my guidelines. Oh, let me zoom in again. Sorry for the sound effects. I can't resist. Okay. Bring this in here. And get this dark area. I see it's this leaf petal. Right in there. It's a little bit darker right through here maybe. Alright. One thing that I find really useful is, sounds crazy, what helps you to be able to see what you're doing is to walk away, or to take a picture of it. If you take a photograph, that seems to remove you from what you're working on and gives you a different viewpoint of it. For me right now, every time I look up at the camera and I see what I have, that is what's giving me a different viewpoint, and helping me see where I want to go next. So what I'm doing is I'm picking a value for a main area and filling in an area with that stroke, and then coming in and intensifying it and darkening things up, just because, as we talked about, it's pen and ink, so you can't go lighter, but you can go darker. And this is just, it's a drawing. We're not doing I'm not trying to do a perfect photo realistic rendering using only parallel lines. I just want to get the feel of the flower, and if people know it's a delicate it's a delicate poppy. So, and it's your project, so you want to do something different, then do it different. That's okay. That's what art is all about, right? It's self-expression, being creative, and part of being creative is making that change to things, I think. You know, taking that challenge when your brain's saying, don't do it, don't put that mark there, and your head's going, and your heart's saying, but I really think it'd be cool if I did this. And, you know, just go for it. It's a piece of paper, you know, it's not a big deal. It's how we learn. We learn through experimenting. Okay, so this petal this needs to be a bit darker value. There we go. Now I'm going to bring this one in. So I'm just, you know, kind of following along, and alright, so what do we have here? The stem is around in there. So, and where is that in my drawing? A similar value. Around in here in that shadow area in here. So this is about what I want to use for my stem as a line. About that close together. And you can see that there's a lighter spot there. So maybe what I'll do is go every other spot and then put some strokes inside. So I end up with some lighter spots along the stem. Alright, so it's all just, it takes time. Pen and ink isn't something that you just can rush sometimes. You know, certain strokes go a lot faster than other strokes, and you'll see that as we move through things. But right now, part of the challenge is only using parallel strokes. And that's yeah, I like combining all these different things together. So for me right now, this is a challenge for me, because I like to combine different strokes. But we're going to go one step at a time. So let's come along. Alright, so I can do something like that. I can, let's see here. Maybe I want to darken up my, I don't think the center of the poppy isn't going to have that strong of a contrast. So I'm going to put some strokes right over top of it. And dull it down a little bit. Alright, I'm just going to keep on building. On the photograph, don't really see the stem, it's in the shadow. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker than what I have going on here. So I think what I'll do, that's a 0.05, so I think I'll use a 1. And it's similar to value right there, so I think that works. I don't want it to get lost though, so I'll have to work on, I have to figure out which way I want to go. If I want to have my stem be darker, or if I want my petal to be darker. Now up in here, there's a highlight area on this stem. The lines are going to be further apart in here. And then it gets a little bit darker again. So I'm going to put a small little line in there. Alright. Up in here on my petal I have there's a divot like in the back of the petal, so that's like one of the darkest values on this flower. I'd say right in here it's dark, right here, here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with those darkest areas first. It's in the distance and it's delicate, so I'm going to use a thin line. Here, alright. And then what I can do is, so right now that still isn't as dark as what I would need. I mean, that's only, what, around in here. We need to go a little bit darker. So I'm going to go over those areas again and layer in. I'm going to use the thinner marker. And I'm going to go over those areas again. And as I move, I'm going to continue and go right into the other petals. So it's kind of like it gives it like a instant shading here, because it's doubling up the lines where they are already. It's just a hazy kind of look. I want an eraser. So up in here, if I erase those pencil lines that I had put in there. There. That just helps me see a little bit better of what is what's going on. Alright. I think it's coming along. Getting there. Okay, so on the pod, I'm going to, this is a really dark area in here. I'm going to use a bolder stroke there. It has these little dark little lines coming up. And yeah, this isn't the same pot as that artistic license can do. It's a great thing, isn't it? Alright, I'm going to and it's Alrighty. And I need to have my stems. Let me get my stem in here. And it's just a matter of keep on building it up. And there we go. It's getting there. So keep on going. Try it out. One step at a time. The little divider things, honestly, they help quite a bit. Because that way you just don't feel overwhelmed, and you can jump into those areas without worrying too much. And try the picture thing and let me know what you think whenever you take a picture of it, and look at it on your phone, because it'll be a lot, it honestly looks a lot different on your phone than what it does. Here, let me see something. Zoom in. Oops. Okay, so if I take my phone, take a picture. Of course, right now I have all kinds of shadows going on. So it's just, helps a little bit. Gives it a different perspective. Alright, so plug away, give it a shot, send me pictures, and I will see you on Thursday.